Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us on this evening's edition of Majority Caucus. We are live on your multi-TV. My name is Ali Dawood, your regular host. Tonight, we will turn our attention to tribal politics. Of course, we recognize the times that we are in. We could have chosen the time to discuss any other topic, but do believe me, this issue has assumed yet another center stage of our campaign messages, if you like. And so it is important that we educate people. One of the reasons that we come here is to inform you, educate you, make sure at the end of the day you make an informed choice. As a result, we owe it a responsibility to bring you information that we think are very crucial. It is not in anybody's interest to engage in any form of tribal bigotry. But when the hypocrisy assumes a center stage as to the effect that people who ought to be advised are not advised, and people who have they should ensure themselves to be of proper conduct throughout this campaign are rather being accused of being ethnocentric, it begs the question whether or not we are honest in our discourse. A friend of mine sent me this. It's quite lengthy, but we'll do my best to read through it quickly. He's called Hanan Confidence Abdul. He said, of Nanado and the MPP's intolerance. I am now less critical of Nanado, but I don't pretend to like him. Maybe I have grown politically. But I must confess that I dread his presidency. I may genuinely not fancy Nanado for his own shortcomings and misdeeds. However, the dislike may be potentiated by MPP's irrationally uncompromising stance on all matters pertaining to Nanado. The MPP has downgraded the party into some 21st century Protestant religious denomination and placed a demagogue premium on Nanado. He went further to say that Nanado, in the eyes of his worshippers, see him as anointed above reproach, scrutiny, and critique. Their mantra seems to be touch not my anointed, or face the backlash of an organized and uniform acrimonious tongues. As a matter of fact, if you want to know where your afterbirth was buried, then joke with Nanado's personality. If you want to know how your great-grandmother lost blah, 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 I'll skip that, then keep daring Nanado. If you want to know how undeniably convincing lies can be manufactured on your person, then continue to put Nanado on the spotlight. This amongst many other character traits of the presidential candidate of the MPP that has been brought yet again to the fore for scrutiny. The point is that the MPP led by Nanado will not be any different in the most unlikely event that they assume the reins of governance in this country. A government or a leader who despises the act of dissenting views is a problem. A government who cannot stand scrutiny from the public, who entrusts their sovereignty in his care, is a huge disaster. The issue about tribal politics, like I indicated, is a regrettable one, but it becomes necessary for us to mention it because, one, Nanado in Upper East made a comment on the campaign platform that he does not endorse tribal bigotry. Oh my God, in Ghana, Nanado does not endorse tribal bigotry. I am happy that Nanado has finally realized that tribalism or ethnocentric bigotry in our body politics has no place or has no role to play at all. But it's also important to remind viewers that we need to measure Nanado for what he says. Nana Addo is yet to condemn what Kennedy Japan said about Ewes and guns, that they should be maimed and amongst other things. Nanado is yet to condemn Kennedy Japan. In fact, if Nanado is walking his talk, by now we should have seen a sharp public condemnation of what Osafo Manfo said. I do remember, and I'll forever be proud of that achievement, that I was part of the organizers of the Codec demonstration in Greater Accra to demonstrate against or to register our protest against ethnocentric bigotry in our politics. And I was happy that MPP, feeling the heat, could not stand it anymore were forced to join the demonstration. I remember the likes of Michael K. Jr., they were all there. Dominic Nito, minority leader, they were all there. Till date, Nana Addo is yet to condemn what Osafo Mafu said. In Osafo Mafu's view, if you do not come from any of the Akan-dominated regions, you are not fit to be a president. Nana Addo did not condemn this, but Nana Addo went to Upper East to tell them that when President Mahama comes and tells you, I'm a Northerner, or sorry, when President Mahama tells you that the MPP uses Northerners to gain power, after that they dump them. Of course, that statement is true. Nana Addo said you should condemn President Mahama for telling you the obvious truth. We need to be very serious in this country. Bawumia, just recently, not less than 5 times, was telling people because he's a Muslim, every Muslim should vote for him. Now, Bawumia has extended his tribal bigotry beyond tribes and ethnicity. He's now into religious discrimination. If you're a Muslim, vote for Bawumia. But Nana Addo was there with Bawumia by him. He refused to condemn this statement. And yet, Nana Addo wants us to believe that he does not endorse tribal bigotry. Please, we need to be more serious than that. At least for nothing at all, viewers, listeners, political players ought to be credited with some level of intelligence. And so it is important for us to play back the record so that Ghanaians, you will be the better judges of the characters of these 2 presidential candidates. President Mahama made a statement that if he were to be in MPP, with the unfortunate passing away of His Excellency President Mills, he is sure that he will not be allowed to go unopposed. They will contest him. And that is a fact. The late Aliu Muhammad, may God rest his soul, was the closest of coming to being a president. What did we see? 17 other candidates contested him. Today, I'm yet to read in any of the news platform whether there has been any conscious or national efforts on behalf of the MPP to remember the passing away of Aliu Muhammad. I'm yet to see that. If you have contrary evidence, I'm ready. I'm yet to see that. And yet, Nana Akufo-Addo, he does not endorse tribal or religious bigotry. I beg to differ. I will go for a quick break. When I come back, I will introduce my guest, and I'll tell you why you should vote for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC in this year's election. Stay tuned. Be right back. They have found their teeth. They can now bite. They have found their tongues. They can now talk and criticize. Sadly, they have found their metal. They can now raise the sledgehammer and crush His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Why? Because he said NPP uses Northerners and dump them. How false is that statement? Never. It can only be true. Yen Akamfo, this statement is coming from Akufo-Addo. Captured by WikiLeaks. Obiade Yemienu, captured by WikiLeaks. Nana Addo himself made this statement under no duress or threat of violence. None. Talk about Kennedy Japan, we've mentioned that already. Talk about Osafo Mafu. There is a plethora of religious and tribal bigotry surrounding Nana Akufo-Addo and his campaign team. And we are yet to hear anything. I will be back after this break. Welcome back. Sorry about that. We needed to go for an emergency break to rectify some technical issues, and everything has been resolved. And I was saying earlier that in the MPP, it appears as though, as a friend would say, that those whose utterances have the potential of leading this country into a state of conflagration are rather celebrated with pomp and pageantry, and wise people and wise-brained whose dissenting views could, effect some proper remedy are rather being hunted and chased away from the MPP party. The MPP does not believe in criticisms. I don't even understand it anymore. Within their own party, look at what Akufo-Addo is superintending over. And that will be no different if he becomes the president, of course, in the most unlikely event. And that gives cause for worry. This is not a joke. Entrusting your sovereign in the hands of a leader is an odious tax and ought to be done carefully. Kamal Dean, the national coordinator of MPP, when you listen to him, you regret what his responsibilities are as a coordinator for the supposed Northern Caucus or the Zongo Caucus of the MPP. According to him, he hasn't seen any Northerner who's ripe yet to be a presidential candidate. Serious. This is sad. But that is not all. You remember the minority leader? When they were looking for flag bearers of different ethnic background, he said he doesn't see anybody from the Gan community who is ready to be a flag bearer for the MPP. The case goes on unnumbered, or it goes on endless. And yet, my problem really is not about the utterances from the MPP, because we know them for who they are. They will never change. Only the name tag will change from UP to MPP. We know that. But the supposed civil society groups that all of a sudden they go dead silent when they hear "Oh, die be die," when they hear "Yeah, Kamfu," when they hear "Kill Airways and Guns," they go dead silent. It's as if nothing has been said. Nothing. They don't hear anything. Nothing. Let President Mahama say MPP uses Northerners to get power, and then after that they dump them a statement, which by the way is true. And then you have media foundation from nowhere. President should go and are you serious? President Mahama should go and apologize for stating the obvious. So now we are being couched into submission. The art of cowardice should be the watchword. We no longer should be bold, should have the confidence to talk about truthful and objective issues in the manner that they deserve to be said. NDC cannot say MPP is being tribalistic. Oh, then NDC becomes rather tribalistic. How is that even possible in the decent democratic tradition such as the one in Ghana? We are getting closer to election. Already, you've heard results or situations about violence here and there. I know the police are up to tax. They will put it under control. That is what we want. Majority caucus, we are for peace. We always stand for peace. You vote for John Dramani Mahama, you vote for NDC. Peace. And we will make sure Ghana remains a peaceful country. To do that, certain things ought to be put right. The hypocrisy needs to be stopped. The double standard ought to be cut out. When Akufo-Addo makes unfortunate comment, condemn it. Don't wait for President Mahama to condemn the unfortunate statement made by Akufo-Addo, and then you condemn President Mahama for condemning the unfortunate statement from Akufo-Addo. We need to be more serious than that. This is all we have. We have Ghana. On our part, we will make sure this election goes very peacefully, as always. There will be no violence. No. Occasional misunderstanding could be tolerated, but no violence. Ghana needs peace. We have peace, and we are going to maintain it, inshallah. I have in the studio the man from the Shai Osudoku traditional area, Mr. Owula Mangote. He even has more to say than what I have espoused earlier. Let's welcome Mr. Owula Mangote. Owula Mangote, sorry I took much of your time.
No problem. It's a joy to be here.
Owula Mangote,
yeah.
We have a problem. And from my introductory remark, you could see that we don't need this. We don't need this tribal undertones,
Yes.
you know, lingering in the backyard, lingering or lurking in the shadows, you know, with the temptation of causing mayhem. We don't need that.
Yes.
But often at times you get the MPP on that tangent. I don't know what it is that they get from it, but at least once bitten twice shy, they ought to learn from history.
Yes.
It doesn't yield to their benefit. Why continue?
Okay, right. I think that you need to situate the discussion in history. Okay, maybe history that goes as far back as even the scramble and partition of Africa. History that goes as far back as, you know, the bond of 1844. History that goes as far as the colonial rule. History that goes as far as the, you know, the education policy of Nkrumah, for you to understand what is happening today. Osafo Manfo's statement is coming from a colonial mentality.
Very, very unfortunate.
Akufo-Addo's apparent, support of whatever incendiary statements that are made, tribal statements that are made, you know, come from a colonial mentality. Baumia's statements that he's making, they also come from a colonial mentality. But before I delve into history, let me state what the issues are, the facts of the case,
Of course.
as it were. You have a president from the north, a Gonja president from the north, a Bole boy, you know, raised in Damango. Then you have a running mate of a political party who is from the Mampurgu area. He goes about always, you know, using invectives against his fellow northerner, calling him incompetent, calling him a thief.
As if to suggest that he needed to do that, discredit one of his own in order to be accepted by MPP.
Call him a thief, call him all sorts of names. So, his elder brother, who is from the north, calls him Aboji Zonanga. Sit down, let me tell you something. You don't smell too much of an elephant. My brother, you don't smell too much of an elephant. You smell more of an umbrella. If you don't know, let me tell you. Your father, Alhaji Mumuni Baumia, was an NDC man and chairman of the Council of State. Your mother, was a women organizer of the NDC in one of the constituencies. Your brothers had appointments in the NDC. One of them, a former ambassador to Burkina Faso, and now ambassador to Morocco. That's your brother. Okay? It's because of your father's name. That's why the governor of the Bank of Ghana, who became an NDC Minister of Finance, to employ you into the research department of the Bank of Ghana. Okay? You've grown, you've made some money, you wanted to marry. Who did you marry? You married Samira. Do you know Samira? She was an executive of...
In fact, she was staying president at KNUST.
Good.
The NDC student wing.
Good. Who is your brother-in-law? The parliamentary candidate for Adenta.
Yeah.
Who is he?
Mohammed Ramadan.
On which
He's
party?
a presidential staffer too.
So, my brother, you smell a lot of an umbrella than an elephant. So where you are, they don't trust you and do not trust you. They will use you to make all the noise, but they will dump you. Do you know why, my brother, Baumia? You are telling our northern brothers that they are watching Color TV. Color TV. And that they've asked you to go and tell them, you don't deserve to watch Color TV. You need black and white. Do you know what you are telling our northerners? You are insulting them. That they don't like good things. That is the advice that President Mahama
They should forget the president and come for vice
yes.
president.
You are telling them they have a president. And you say that, they should put the president aside. And that they should consider you a vice president. What are you talking about? Okay, we have a Ghana sing, and President Mahama, he is living in Accra, so he knows how to sing this Ghana song. Akehicha kafe, Umodibo, Nobacho, Noya. Look, my brother Baumia, let's not go about insulting each other or you insulting me and saying things about me. Inshallah, if it's the will of Allah that I continue to be president, it will come to pass. If the will of Allah that you should be vice president, it will come to pass. I didn't decide that I want to be president. I went to work in the morning as a vice president. And by the close of the day, I become a president. It's the will of God for my life. So my brother, take your time. This is the advice that the president is giving his own brother Baumia. And why is he giving that advice? Because he had a senior brother called Alhaji Aliu Mahama, who was vice president. Who was vice president for 2 terms. Yes. He acted as president of a total of 2 years.
Kufuor was out of the country.
God. He said diligently, honestly, it was time for President Kufuor to pass on the baton of leadership to somebody. All of a sudden, hell broke loose. Everybody went and contested him. So President Mahama is telling Baumia, my brother.
Before you continue, Alhaji Aliu Mahama drove all the way from the castle to go to the NDC headquarters to be vetted. When he went there, when he got there, there was nobody there to vet him. Yeah. A sitting vice president.
Those are the things that President Mahama is telling his brother. And look, for those of you who are watching, let me tell you, Baumia is not a stranger to President Mahama.
Okay.
He's not a stranger. In terms of relationships, he's not a stranger. Baumia, Abu Sakara Foster.
Yeah, the former CPP president.
No, not a stranger to President Mahama when it comes to relationships. Because go into history, the relationship between Alhaji Muni Baumia and the father of President Mahama, and how their kids grew together. So maybe Baumia may be too young to know, but you are not a stranger to the Mahama family. So that's the advice. Look, President Mahama is telling Baumia that, look, when Aliu Mahama was campaigning, even district chief executives did not want to be around to receive the vice president anytime he got to their districts. That's what President Mahama was telling his brother.
Show of disdain.
What President Mahama was telling Baumia is that, look, he's aware of people from a certain ethnic group going to sit down and saying that, oh, look at this Teni or Pese or Beba so who tells you that we want to hand over power to you, a Northerner or a Muslim? Who tells you that? That is what President Mahama is telling his brother. That, look, in case anything happens today, God forbid that what happened in the NDC should happen in the NPP. But in case anything happens today, and you want to contest, don't ever think that because you've been going out there to insult me, to attack me, automatically leadership will come to you. Why am I saying so? Because anyone fretting. Anyone fretting from colonial era, we know them. So I'll come to the history. But before then, he's saying that, look, I'm from Bole. I was raised in Damango. There's no way if I was in the MPP, I could have become president.
It is not possible.
No, not possible.
They simply wouldn't allow that to happen.
President Mahama is right because as I sit here, in 1984, I followed my father to Bole to go and collect some money from some Caliph fathers who had bought something from my father.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, the road from Bamboy to Bole in those days, deplorable. When I went to Bole, the whole Bole township was getting water from whatever, borehole or something in the compound of the Caliph church. And the Caliph fathers there were Father Kite or Kurt and Father Peter. Anybody who lived in Bole around 1984, 1985, 86 will attest to this. Everybody went to fetch water there. The people of Bole were not living in poverty. Poverty was living in them. As not far back, just recently, 84. In 1995-96, I still went to Bali to check the conditions of Bali as a staff of GNPC, because those days there was somebody from a very powerful man with the Game and Wildlife Department, Mr. Pungusi. I think I got the name right, who wanted the Mole Game Reserve developed. So GNPC took it upon itself to do it. So Mr. Chajikata was sending us there, and we needed to go and get some things from Wa. I tell you, the road from Fufuso through Damango, through Larabanga, to the Mole Game Reserve, or to Sola, and to Bole, I tell you, was deplorable. So anytime President Mahama said that he came from Bole, was raised in Damango, and it's only recently that he's done that road that has changed the whole chemistry of that enclave. I've been wondering how this young man could have risen from that Bole Bambo Damango enclave to where he is. And normally, don't go and tell him, I've been whispering that Padine Owelewa. Owelewa. Because to have come from that enclave, I tell you,
He's done well for himself.
He's done well for himself. So for him to have remembered where he came from and to have told his own brother that, look, my brother, from where I have come from, but for the NDC, I wouldn't have gotten to this place. So remember this. Whoa, all of a sudden,
He's been driver.
And then watch, who is the one who signed the statement of the Media Foundation for West Africa? Do you know the name?
Remind our viewers.
No, the name, I don't think it's the name that is born by somebody from Shire Sudoku.
No, certainly not.
Yes. Yeah, he's also from the north.
Yes, that's what they do. They get a northern.
So now, let us go into history. For you to understand the colonial mentality that people still hold, that they are first-class citizens. They have the inalienable right to rule this country. That anybody from any other place, whether you are from the north or these days to the extent it to some of us in the Gandangba enclave, you don't have the right to rule. That's why we have derogated terms for you. Then turning in Ghana, sometimes they have a way of saying it. So my brother, what was it? The colonialists check the paradigm of development, and you understand how we've treated people from the northern region. Ports and harbors at the coast, railway lines to extractive resources where they can get resources for their metropolitan industries. So timber, oil palm plantations, mines. Who were the people who were seen as the rich core of labor to work in the mines and in the plantations?
Our brothers and sisters from the
Tornagode. So the north was seen as a place where we would get hewers of wood and drawers of water. People who would come and work in the mines. People who would come to carry people's human excreta. Okay? So that is the colonial mentality that a lot of guys have grown up with.
I remember Esla. She said they are cattle rearers.
Do you understand? So that is what brought the tragedy of the north-south migratory
until date
path onto date.
So
when you go to places in the western region, Ashanti region, Brong-Ahafo region, eastern region, you see large settlements of people from the northern parts of Ghana, in the mines, in the plantations, whatever. Their children did not have the opportunity to be educated so that they could change the morals of poverty, degradation, and backwardness in which the colonial pattern of development had been foisted on them. The colonialists too, for those of us in the South, what did they do about education for us? It's about educated us to be clerical officers, people working in the courts, okay, either at the post office to deliver messages. So we were training the 3 R's. If you could just read, write, and then get yourself into something. So we grew up having the mentality not to be inventors. We didn't grow up, those of us scholars in the South, didn't grow up to be inventors, but to speak good English, know how to eat with a fork and knife, wear tie, you know, and then you have handkerchief in your suit. Yes, suit, no suit. Then you have, what is it that you call it? You're a lawyer.
The handkerchief.
Yeah, handkerchief.
As a mark of a gentleman.
Gentleman. That is what we have grown up with in the South. So we have always looked down on the people from the North as lesser citizens. Kwame Nkrumah realized that we could not continue to have this paradigm of development. That's why, in order to accelerate the educational reorientation of our people in the North, came out with the Education Trust, scholarships, schools, so that people would change their orientation from using their brawn to their brain. No longer brawn, but brain. No longer brawn, but brain. That was the policy for Nkrumah. That's how come that you've had a new core of educated elite from the North who began to contribute to national development. Some have become bankers, some have become lawyers, some have become politicians. All of a sudden, those of us in the South, or those who think that we are aristocratic or we have the inalienable right to rule, began to see people who only yesterday their fathers or grandfathers were weeding our cocoa farms, carrying our excreta, human excreta. Now I'm beginning to wear suits, speak good English.
Even better than we are.
Better than
them. They could not understand that.
Yeah, bankers, lawyers, commanding the heights of the economy. Best, international diplomats. And in 1979, Nkrumah turned in his grave and smiled. When the scholar from Golu became president of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Hillary Liman. Nkrumah turned in his grave because the seed he had planted had germinated, grown into a big fruit, and a tree, and the fruits were that of, Liman. After Liman, somebody was able to also rise up to the position of vice president. His Excellency Alhaji Ali Umar. He said with dignity. After him, a young man from Bali, assemblyman, became assemblyman, became deputy minister of communication.
Minister.
Became minister of communication. 3-term member of parliament. Became vice president. Went to work one fine morning, became president. When he became president under a very serious national catastrophe. He went around thanking everybody for coming to help him organize a funeral, gather the country together. By the time he was ready to go into election, it was left with 1 month.
Yes.
One month. But he was able to galvanize everybody in the NDC behind him. He succeeded. He won the election. But those who believed that they had the inalienable right, the Alodia title, Alodia title to rulership in Ghana, said, Tenny will rule us. Let's go to court. 8 months, he was sidetracked. 8 months, he was sidetracked from court. After that, fires in markets, demonstrations. People were occupying the whole Ghana. Or where were they occupying? They say occupy Ghana. They were occupying the whole Ghana, all sorts of distractions. Okay, to make sure that this guy, the great-great-grandson of somebody who was weeding our cocoa farms, would never succeed. But you see, President Mahama is like the indicated bird who has said that as long as hunters have learned to shoot without missing, so has he learned to fly without perching. I'm saying President Mahama is like a naked bird. That's why he does that. Are you getting me?
Absolutely.
So long as these hunters from the forest zone have decided, they've learned to shoot without missing, so has he learned to fly without perching. You see the grace of God in his life?
Indeed.
He has used the 3.5 years or 3 years of his rulership to work as if there's no tomorrow.
Indeed.
President Mahama, he has worked as if there's no tomorrow. God has given him a chance. And the sort of things that he has done in these 3 years, unprecedented. We revere Nkrumah, so we say that Nkrumah has done a lot. But I'm telling you that if you look at the infrastructure development, the interventions of President Mahama within this time, he's worked as if there's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. So that, you see, God has laid a table before him in the presence of his enemies, and his cup is run over. And surely goodness and mercy will follow him into a second term.
Indeed.
God has laid a table before him. His works. Initially, they said they were photoshops. Initially, they said they were not existent.
Artistic impression.
Artistic impressions. But you see, God has laid a table before President Mahama in the presence of his enemies, in the presence of all those who think that they have the inalienable right to rule. And whilst they were out there trying to undo him, you see, God caused a confusion in their camp. The man who thinks that he has the right to rule this country, no matter at all costs, he has to be president of Ghana. Phew. He's chairman. He sacked him.
I almost even forgot. When Akufo-Addo went to Alembele, he told them that he's been able to bring to them an Nzima man as the chairman, and therefore they should. I mean, you listen to all these statements, and the civil society keep quiet.
He sacked his chairman, he sacked his general secretary, he sacked his vice chairman. He sacked a whole lot of people. There are great guys.
There are other executives too.
There are great guys. They cannot
Norway,
say,
Sweden,
they
UK,
cannot. They cannot say Foko. They can say Foko. Tarzan. Tarzan. He can say Foko. Do you understand?
So, you mean?
Yeah. So that's the NPP. And sometimes you ask yourself, is that the NPP of Odwe Sykes? Odwe Sykes NPP, is that the sort of NPP that you have today? So whilst you are out there to make sure that you bring Mahama down, he's working like there's no tomorrow. So my brother, all these things, check the Media Foundation for West Africa's statement carefully. You realize that it is a statement that is anachronistic. It doesn't suit the so-called offense. At all.
They are trying
I have reasonable cause to
find an offense when none exists.
I have reasonable cause to believe that a statement was issued, maybe drafted, with the view that they'll fix this guy. So when this one came,
there was just an already made statement.
It doesn't make sense. And I'm sure the gentleman from the North who signed it on behalf of his paymasters also didn't read it, or he didn't have the grit to do that. So my brother, they want to crucify President Mahama for advising his own brother. That is my brother Akehe Chankafe. You know that's Akehe Chankafe. Omodimbo, no bacho, no ya. My brother, don't run yourself up and down. These people, no more fraternity from colonial times. They did this, what they are doing, they did it against Nkrumah. And they are doing it against him. Don't allow yourself to be used. Has President Mahama sinned? Has he sinned for advising his own brother?
No.
He could have said, oh, my brother, yeah, just go ahead and do it. So I'm telling you today, President Mahama has not committed any offense, whether it's traditional or spiritual or moral, by advising his brother that, please, what you are doing, it will come to haunt you. And you know the song? Yeah, I don't speak to you very bad. You can't want to know Debi no behu. Carry no nu obana ka ohimbe. You know that song? That is what is advising Bawumia again. So it's for Bawumia to listen. Because Bawumia, you've been lying.
The accounts have their own version. Or say
Bawumia, you've been lying. You are lying.
If you want to have any idea of how that looks like,
you've been lying.
Just take a look at your sleep.
Something 6,800 Togolese on our register, and Koko Adjun has please provide. You've been lying all the time. You have been lying.
The EC is still waiting.
So he calls you and says, look, my brother, stop what you are doing. It's not right. You are my brother. You are denigrating the name of your father. You understand me? Now, when people mention the name Baumia, we forget all of the good works of his father or even his brothers. It's about...
His name is synonymous to lies.
Lies. So that's the advice. So please, fellow Ghanaians, I'm here telling you, I'm a traditionalist, I'm telling you that President Mama hasn't done anything wrong. And the issue to that, sometimes people think that history is on their side. What they forget is that John Mama is the great-great-grandson of the great Gonja warrior, Ndura Japa. Look, he said you have some of us, people are in the forest zone and think that their tradition is the richest. That is the great-great-grandson of Ndura Japa, the great Gonja warrior. So if you want to talk about rich tradition and history, if you're on the 40-40 parity, you don't come anywhere near the exploits of the great Gonja warrior in Ndura Japa. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The fearless in Ndura Japa, and you from some 300 kingdom. You want to compare yourself? So, President Mama, focus.
Okay.
Focus in delivering and making sure that you have a second term. Because, look, Jerry Rawlings, where is he from? He's from the south, from Jolokope. He did 4 years. On top of his being in this era, years. 4 years, constitutional president. The president of the constitutional era. Came and begged the people of Ghana that, look, I've started something. I need to finish.
Good.
Give me 4 more years. Did we listen to him? We listened to his prayer and we gave him 4 years. President Kufuor from the forest zone, he did 4 years. Even his achievements, if you look at the record of his achievement for the 4 years, in their own record, you know their
However
record.
poor it was, he was granted another 4 years.
4 years. Then, another person from Bole Bamboy has done 4 years. Marvelous achievements. He said, give me 4 years. They say, no, you're a sinner. You were a sinner. Your parents were sinners. Your great-grandfathers were sinners. What was the sin of President Mama? Because he's from the north. And the north, by the paradigm of development of this country, you are supposed to continue to be second-class citizens. You are supposed to continue to be hewers of wood and throwers of water. You are supposed to continue to work in the mines. You are supposed to continue to carry people's human excreta.
How dare you become
How dare who born dog for you to be president? And then when here, second term ago, it will never happen. But you see, he who jobless,
no one cares.
And until people like Akufo-Addo, Osafo Maf. What is the name of the majority? Chairman
Sambusu.
Emancipate themselves from that colonial mentality that makes them think that they are first-class citizens and they have the right to rule, and that all other people are second-class citizens. Their eyes will see Canaan, but they will never, never, ever touch there.
Interesting. But Ola, it looks as if the debate will not end there. It will cause me great personal pain. That I keep getting text messages. Oh, you didn't say anything about Samira Baumia. I don't think we want to focus on Samira. But the argument is that...
No, hold on. Samira Baumia. See, when a butterfly is pretending to be a bird, don't go quarreling with a butterfly, my brother.
Okay.
When a butterfly is also pretending to be a bird, don't quarrel with a butterfly.
Okay.
There will be a storm. And when the storm comes, okay, we will check your buoyancy to determine whether you're a butterfly.
Oh, yeah,
so, I mean, allow Samira to also, float, But if you're a butterfly, don't pretend to be a bird because you'll be exposed by the storm.
I see. So, Owula, the point also has to be made that apart from Media Foundation for West Africa, I mean, it's an organization that has been heavily discredited. They are of no credibility. They are of no moment in our political discourse. But be that as it may, the nuisance that they sought to cause, even though it's falling flat right in their faces, it looks as if there are other civil society organizations. Whenever those unfortunate comments come from certain quarters, i.e. from the MPP, you see so much hesitation. Christian Council, whatever council it is, so much hesitation. Their silence is so loud that you begin to wonder if indeed they still live in the same country as we do. And I need to see an immediate, because it's really what fuels the misunderstanding, that when the obvious wrong has been done or has been committed, instead of taking positive steps to remedy the effect, they keep mute. Then the person who rather seeks to correct the error becomes the I don't understand.
Yeah, because
I just don't understand.
No.
I wish I can say I can't think far.
The Media Foundation for West Africa.
Yeah.
It's a whitewash sepulchre. It's a whitewash sepulchre. Jesus Christ said it. And all the councils and communities I mentioned, they're just like the Pharisees and the Sadducees of Jesus' day. And my brother, they'll continue to do what they are doing, but it's like focus. You see, like a caravan. John Mahama's caravan is in town, and it is moving into a land of more peace, of more progress, and of more prosperity for Ghana. You are going to have all sorts of dogs barking at the caravan, but the caravan has to move, focused, and get into the destination that it wants us to get to. When you drive a caravan into any market, anywhere, you are sure to have dogs barking at the caravan. Do you have to stop? Do you have to listen to them? You got to move on. We are moving into an era, second term of President Mahama, more peace, more progress, more prosperity for Ghana. So these, people whitewash sepulchres and then making lots of noise, you ignore them with the disdain that they deserve. Because everybody knows. I mean, why are you loud in your silence when others make such statements? And why all of a sudden do you think that you have to wear the mantle of righteousness to speak about something that somebody seeks to do to correct an ill? Okay, you're a lawyer. If you seek to do equity,
you must come with clean hands.
Come with clean hands.
It's a fundamental principle in equity.
If you seek to do equity, come with clean hands. So he who seeks equity must come with clean hands. And if you seek equity, you must do equity. Not so.
I mean, never in the history of this country have people become more enlightened. Sophistication is the order of the day through information technology and communication. You would know that people have acquired so much knowledge. People are very discerning lately. And yet, the more knowledgeable we appear to be, the more ignorant the system appears to look like. Because there's so much hypocrisy that you don't know how to place a discussion even in proper context.
No, it's because there's a disconnect. The people are knowledgeable, but they don't have institutional memory. You get it?
Okay, history is good.
Yes, they don't have institutional memory. They don't know where we've come from, and they don't know where we've reached, and they don't know where we are going.
Okay.
You understand me? So look at it. A lot of people don't know where we've come from, and they also don't know where we've reached, and they actually don't know where we are going. So that for a party like the NDC, it's supposed to have a party school.
Okay. I'm sure we'll have another discussion.
A party school to teach people the rich history of the NDC.
Okay.
Where the NDC has come from, where the NDC has reached, and where the NDC is going. And look, I tell you, the NDC is not a party that should be going to elections and be winning the elections by 51% or 50%.
It should be 60 and more.
No, the NDC should be winning elections by vast numbers and percentages.
Thank you very much for coming. It's obvious we ran out of time. Of course, as the saying goes, when you're having fun, time flies. How amazing that could be. But the important point, the takeaway, or take-home, point is that, as always, we must be prepared to embrace peace and the 2016 election as we've done in the previous years. We have no other option is to maintain peace. Whatever we do, at the end of the day, the major focus should be about peace. And to ensure peace, you must ensure equity, you must ensure honesty, you must be dispassionate in discussing national issues. We would expect the wrongs to be condemned and the rights to be applauded. Inshallah, next week we will be here, God willing, to give you yet another exciting edition of Majority Caucus. Till then, I say thank you very much for always being part of the show. Till then, enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.